Organizational Design, Structure, and Change presentation for Apple Inc., presented by yours truly, Victoria Payne. Thank you for watching. Apple Inc. is well known for its high quality premium products that customers are dying to have and its constant technological innovation. Although Apple Inc. is very profitable and successful, I will address how it's underperforming in terms of managing its people. I will begin with the problem and discuss the organizational structure, how it applies to conscious capitalism, and how I plan to work towards a change. Have you ever heard of the hashtag Apple2? Well, in 2021, this hashtag began circulating all over social media. Mainly, it came from the employees at Apple Inc. who wanted to discuss their concerns about pay inequity, discrimination, and how Apple was violating labor laws. Most of these were true because many lawsuits were filed immediately after this. Former employee Janika Parrish believed her termination was retaliation for her decision to speak up about pay equity and advocating for union organization. Seems like since Apple didn't have a comment, it seems like they actually did this, and it seems like they actually do not value their employees. My concern is what's going to happen to the top performers later on down the road who realize that they're not getting paid equally and they can't obtain any leadership role. What are they going to do? What happens if they leave? How will this affect Apple Inc.'s organizational structure and culture? Apple Inc. operates under a functional organizational structure due to the ever changing environment encompassing technology. Things are always changing, we are always experimenting, things are getting better and better as years go on. So, it was best for Apple to organize its structure based off function. So, they consider all of their employees to be experts, and then there are lead experts, so the managers of these little teams or departments, and they all work together. It is required that they be knowledgeable about their function and be willing to advocate and collaborate with others to drive innovation. Apple managers lead with a discretionary leadership model, which stems from a transformational leadership and Vroom's decision tree approach. All right, I'll get to that in just a minute, but let's dive deeper into this discretionary model. All right, so it's four quadrants. Okay, and this is a educational training program that leaders go through where it forces them to be not only a teacher but a student. They also feel like you should spend more time being a student. All right. So you should spend more time learning about different functional areas. All right. And then once you start learning all of the details after you fully immersed yourself in it, now you can start owning it. So you can start leading other projects, working side by side with someone else who is an expert. Okay. As you're gaining all of the skills that you need. All right. And then they have this teaching and delegating phase. This phase is where, yes, you know all about your function, you're an expert, and everyone is an expert, even though they may not be a leader. But here you get to teach other people how to become better in this functional area, or you can delegate tasks in this area. So you're not the leader, but you might give advice, you might tell them where is the best way to go. Although, very cool, it stems from the transformational leadership approach, mainly because the whole idea of Apple is centered around innovation, technological innovation. So that's how it's transformational. Now, the Vroom's decision tree comes into play because everyone is considered an expert. Yes, we have lead experts, but everyone is considered an expert in their function area. So now leadership is relying on their subordinates to give them to participate, to give them some ideas, to let them know, like, hey, no, this is not going to work. Oh, yes, this is going to work, which I think is pretty cool. It shows that they kind of value their employees, at least their thinking and their opinions when it comes to their function area. Apple Inc. demonstrates some aspects of conscious capitalism, but may sometimes be consistent. I will start by how they do participate in conscious capitalism. So their whole idea is to um, innovate technology. All right. So this technology is highly innovative and it improves the quality of life, whether it makes things more convenient or allows us to be more creative. It is definitely doing those things. This company also assumes environmental responsibility by using recyclable materials and becoming carbon neutral. With the lawsuits filed after Apple II, Apple definitely showed that it did not value all of its stakeholders. Customers, for sure, but not the employees. Everything was done on their expense. So if one stakeholder is neglected, then the system will suffer long term and the business will not operate to its highest potential. Now we're going to discuss my vision on how I would change things for Apple Inc. I want to start by making sure that the employees feel just as valuable as the customers. All right. So, for the sake of things, I'm going to talk about stakeholder inclusion. First, we're going to create a sense of urgency. I will pose these two questions to my leadership team and see how they feel about the responses. How many employees have resigned since 2021? Have there been any new products generated since 2021? Because the goal is to make sure that we are constantly innovating, staying ahead of our competitors, right? Okay, but if we're losing talented people, are we really innovating our technology? I want them to just see how innovation and culture have significantly impacted each other. So we have to create and maintain a culture of trust, openness, relationship building, and information sharing. Second, we're going to form a coalition. Yes, I want to connect with all of the stakeholders. So let's look for interns, people who want to be at Apple but not really sure. Maybe they could be teenagers who love Apple products, or it could be the customers. We just need to get these people involved, okay? We need to do something besides make iPhones, all right? So let's start community projects. Find out what the consumers need. What does society or the environment need? And let's talk to the consumers. I feel like we can start there, but we just need to get them behind us on this collaboration piece. Third, we're going to form a strategic vision. So I'm going to work with the Apple leading experts and identify and assess the company's culture and the behaviors that go with those, represent those. We want them to see how the existing culture will work, because we're going to have run into a bigger challenge trying to create an entirely whole new culture. We have good pieces that work here. Let's use them. Let's build on them. And let's actually show that we know how to achieve that. Let's model these ethical behaviors. Let's start with the leadership so then the employees can follow suit. All right, so how am I going to get that army from my coalition? All right, how am I going to get all of these volunteers? I think the best thing that we could do is do a sweepstakes or a giveaway. We must get society involved in Apple's best elements. We don't want them focused on the pay inequity or the diversity inclusion or us violating labor laws. We want them to know us for the good things that we do for the community. All right, so let's sponsor some hotspots or Wi-Fi for communities in need. That could be a partnership between us and a different organization that can create job opportunities and production or innovation opportunities as well. The bigger the cause or the giveaway, the more participants we can reach. Five, enable actions by removing barriers. Okay, we got all of this profit. Why not pay our employees? All right, they shouldn't be able to go to social media and say that there are no diverse leaders represented in their company. They shouldn't be able to say that they're not being paid. They shouldn't be able to say that we're not following labor laws when all of these things are written in our policy handbook. So we can reorganize the structure and add a new role to make sure that we are holding ourselves accountable to these laws. It could be a part of HR, it could be a completely new role entirely, but we should not be able to have these loopholes the way that we've had in our system. Six, generate a short-term win. All right, well, in order to get the employees to act in a way that reflects our company values, we might want to reward them. Okay, because I know that we're going to have issues with people reverting back to their original behaviors. All right, and operating underneath an empowering leadership model may help alleviate some of those problems and the stress that comes with innovation, because this is a high pressure intense work environment, right? We're constantly trying to come up with new things and do it faster than everyone else. So why not offer some coping strategies that could result in a healthy mix of work and non-work related activities, health promotion programs, and a reasonable workload? We got to make sure that the people stay committed and remain ethical and provide the best work possible for innovation. Seven, how are we going to sustain acceleration? Well, we can continue to reward and hold everyone accountable. This will establish trust among employees to engage in ethical practices and institute change. All right, we got to increase employee production. So let's empower them. Let's make them feel good about what they're doing. This will also increase employee participation because they will get to set their own goals. Maybe they'll be committed to them because they created a goal that they can see themselves achieving. All right. They can make decisions and solve problems within their sphere of responsibility and authority. All right. So it will make them feel more attracted to their work, more invested in their work. And it might relieve them of some stress because they can see themselves actually being able to finish a project. Implement a new company tradition where you recognize employee cooperation, team collaboration, and even team failures, because sometimes those failures lead to a new idea and innovation. All right. So we want to celebrate them and recognize them for making these changes and for continuing to grow and continuing to remain ethical. We want to let them know how much we value them and their growth and all of the changes that they're making. 8, institute change. Incorporate emotional intelligence and empathy. All right. So, with the focus on technological innovation, empowerment leadership, I think, will work best because it will enhance company socialization. Leaders with strong EQ create an environment of trust and confidence that fosters teamwork and higher levels of performance. I plan to experience some pushback with the new changes, including lack of commitment and employees reverting to unethical behaviors. So we need a strong organizational culture and structure because it has to include all of the stakeholders. When everyone feels represented and valued, they're more likely to commit to it. All right. Ethical behavior should be modeled by leadership and they must hold everyone accountable. All right. Not We don't want some people doing the work all the time, and then we want some people doing the work just some of the times. The people who's doing it all the time are going to recognize that. All right. We want to hold them accountable. We want them to know, yes, this is the behavior that we're looking for. We're glad that you're doing it. We're happy that you're doing it. Thank you for doing it. All right. We want to empower and motivate employees to experiment, build relationships, and innovate. And I think this will be the best way for them to do it.